All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. We're gonna go over a couple of things. Sunday evening, definitely ES as always. That's always number one on the list. As I do my late night ES charting, I want to go over Burl, Burlington Coat Factory. I want to go over Goose. I want to go over Wayfair, which is W. I want to go over TTD. I want to go over my baby Meli because Meli is my baby. Love that ticker. I love the ranges. I want to go over maybe a few other things, but I don't want this to be too long because you guys know how I am. I don't want you guys cluttered with so many different tickers and so many different ideas that it's hard to choose from. So I want to just make this as simple as possible. So basically from last week, we did very well on the short side. I don't care what anybody says. At the end of the day, we did amazing on the short side. We have the confirmation did not happen for a full down move because we could not hold below 43.54. That's with ES. And 4,300 or 4,307 was like a bounce area. As you can see here, this is a non-inverted chart. It's a standard chart. 4D is bullish. And the sense it still remains neutral. Why does it remain neutral? Because we are still inside of 9/16's candle right here. All the action has been in this range. And based off the 4D, if you played this range only and scalped long and short, you made a lot of money. The breakout of this range we are looking for is 44.75. Similar to the breakdown of this range would be the closing of this candle, which is 43.36.25. Okay. So what happened? We held 43.54.75. We confirmed with a close above 43.86, 44.27, and 44.61. We closed there. That was the main target, 44.61. I'm just going to give you, this is a 4D, 4-day chart. For everybody that knows, 4-day chart consists of 4 candles in one. It'll be like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday's move all in one candle. Just to give you an idea of what a 4D chart is. I'm going to give you a 2D perspective. Here we go. Similar in a sense. Very strong. We have a candle combo going there. We started a new 2D. What was it? Friday? Let me see. Let me make sure. Today is the 17th. Tomorrow's the 18th. So wait, hold up. So last week's 10-14, 2D, 10-16. So 15th, what was it? 17, 16, 15th. Okay. The new one starts the 18th. So we got a new 2D starts today. So this is ES. The candle already started in its opening. 446. Well, basically 4,461 or 44.61 is a very important level. We remain above this level. Next target is 45.34.50. All-time highs. Above that, we extend to 45.60 and 46.36. If you guys paid attention, and for those that are like, oh, Ninja, your buy is still short. My buy, I am not short. I am not long. I am price. And just like that, we trade price and follow price. And price is saying, take the long route. So we're going possibly back to all-time highs. There's very possibility that we might see 48.08 by end of year. Very possible. Why? Because even looking at, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm going to show you guys in a bit, but I'm just going to give you like just simple, using simple drawing tools. Let me actually remove this. Let me just use the annotation. Show you something real quick. Just look at this. Asymmetrical triangles, you guys know that's one of my favorite setups. When you look at this asymmetrical triangle, we broke out of the triangle, but broke out of this downtrend right here. That breakout here at 43.86.75 was key right here. We got to move over the 14, 13, and 14, 30, and 20 SMAs right here. Price remains above that as long as we hold above 44.27, which I don't see why not. If anything, we bounce off of that as well with a new 2D. They can push us down. I wouldn't mind opening up down at 44.27 and taking Wednesday's 446s. But if we're holding overnight, we're going to be holding 44.61. So like I said, this was a resistance area turned into a support, followed by a new resistance area, which was for the 534. Rejected that. Then we went back to our 44.61 resistance. That remained resistance. And now again, now it's becoming a support. We're going to give you guys a regular daily chart. But the fact that the thing about you guys got to understand too is being long is fun. It makes everything easy because everybody understands long. You know, it's like when I invert the charts, it makes it look easier for those that are scared to short. But being long makes everything easy because again, everything goes up in a sense when you're long. But we don't know how high it's going to go. I don't even know how high it's going to go, but I'm going to trade it until it stops paying. And that's how it works. When you feel like you're over trading in a direction where your gains are slowly decreasing to where you were making 1,000% a week to now only 50 to 100% scalps, sometimes 300% same day expiry, that's when you know there's a turn. And that's what happened. That overnight got me long too. Those 450 should be working out for this week. I wouldn't even be surprised if we see all-time highs by this Friday. This is an extension I drew. Activate that, bring this over. We're bring it all the way over here to the current price. As you can see, my extension touches that 461. Next target is 44.92. Above that, we got to retest all-time highs, but any strong move through that, through 45.34.50, we got 45.60. I don't see why not. And if you look at our 14, 30, and 20 SMAs, they are curling up. Last time they curled up, had a nice trend going back up. So this sideways action was very well needed. We consolidated a little bit after hitting the all-time highs 9.3 September 3rd. And by almost a month, we're looking for a retest within, what is this? So 9.3 here, all-time highs. Like to see how long in between before retesting all-time highs. So 9.3, I'll say 10.25 we'll test all-time highs about. Before we find a new support around 44.61. We want that to hold a support. So any short scalps, anything above 44.92, you can do a quick short scalp. The best play on SPY would be 446 for puts. Anything that tests all-time highs. If it breaks through that, scalp upwards, scalp north of 45.60, 45.85. I'm just going over. I love this chart. Like, hands down, I love this chart a lot. Let me see if I can annotate. So what I want to do, all right, here we go. I want to show you the inverse head and shoulders. This doesn't allow me to edit it the way I want to. Wait, can I? No, I can't bend this tool, but I can do it on what you call it. So it's not gonna let me do it here. I'm gonna show you. So we got a left shoulder, we got the head, we got the right shoulder. Here is your neckline, 44.61. So when you see me tweet a certain price, sometimes I put the moon there, since I put a tornado there, that is a very important price. That's where you're gonna see a lot of action happening around there. And you can just see this from this drawing alone. We have a nice inverted head and shoulders, which is a bullish setup. Now I'm gonna draw some points from here, just connecting them a little bit so you can just see it. And you also get a cup and handle here as well. Your cup is forming. So if we do test all-time highs, I would love an all-time highs retest first, then a retrace back down to 44.61. We channel out here for a little bit. Basically, it'll be like this. And then we get a breakout. Now let's get into some tickers. We gotta always talk about ES. So we're gonna start with meli. Meli. I'm gonna show you what made me close every single meli put. I think it was an H4, it was a 2D. I'm gonna show you right now. It's like it's kind of a double bottom. I think it was on a 15, it was on a smaller time frame in a sense. That caught my attention. Look at this candle combo, 1633 this week. I wouldn't buy it to open because we are current. All right, so I want to teach out something too, but I'm going to show you this, what got me long here. This was like a double bottom right here. This area right here was a double bottom. We went inside 2 times, then we gapped up 1481.61. That was my trigger. So we created a candle combo here. For those that don't know what a candle combo is, I'm going to explain that to you. This is a candle combo setup. Basically like an engulfing candle, followed by a small spinning top, usually inside or just above within the wick. This is also a candle combo. I call this the chair candle combo. It looks like a chair. You draw lines. What happened here is that bounced off of the, what is that, the 14? Give me 1 second. Let me just make sure because I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. This is the 14 SMA. So it's purple, 20 SMA is green, and red is our 30 SMA. So next, followed by that, we have another candle combo from last Friday. The hours you see are just signals. These are not signals that tell you to buy. These are signals because the price closed above that simple moving average. This is another candle combo. Possibly, I see us trading within the 14 and the 30. So that we're going to be trading somewhere in between here, probably bouncing within this range. And once we find a support above this 30 SMA, which is the orange, I would like a move to 1700. So I already got my place for ER. I'm already pretty long. I have November, I have December, and possibly I'm looking to open up some February or March if they have leaps. And I want to get into them before we get above 1633. targeting all-time highs. Yes, I know when we were short, there was the downside. There was a big chance of us going back to triple digits. But based on how everything is and how market's going, price and everything does change. And so does my bias. So with that being said, let's get back to it again. I like to go off too much. So when we gap down, I remember us playing this. We played from around here, right? This gap, let me clear this up, has been on my mind while we shorted. This gap right here. This has been on my mind from the day one. I was like, damn, we gapped down. And I think we gapped down on a 2D. Let me just double check. It was a 2D or 4D. And I'm like, oh, this is gonna make an easy long play. Why? Because all gaps fill. Okay, so it wasn't there. It was, yeah, actually it was there. It's just the chart has changed. Hold on. Let me clear this up. Let me just use the regular rectangle tool. All right, so I'm gonna use the rectangle tool. Here you go. Right here. This gap right here is definitely happening. Now, if you look at this chart, the thing that bothers me, and like I look at a chart playing for both sides, from both sides, because it's very important. I don't want to be, oh, I'm all in long. Like I want to have my mind set like, okay, if it doesn't work out, I already know what to do. Now, you guys know that I like to play channels. I like to play ranges. I like to play within candle ranges. So this candle right here, let me make a channel using this low. Oops. Here we go. Activate. Let me move this up a little bit. I'm going to zoom in for you guys. Just want to give you guys an idea. Okay. Now, here's my issue. This is a 2-day, right? This candle right here, we closed outside of it, which was about what, 1563. This candle, I need to find out what's the opening on this candle. The opening on this candle was 1557. So that's this line going across. We closed above it. My concern was if we closed inside of it, starting a new 2-day tomorrow, any close below 1563 by Tuesday, we have a bearish engulfing, or we have we call it glizzy, a double inside glizzy, where we have a yellow body, 2 green bodies, or purple, and then a yellow body to follow, which would be considered a fake out. But based off of the closing above 1563, well, actually not 1563, I'm sorry. It was 1557, sorry. I want to see us hold there. And then I want to see a move to 1633. That's going to be the first target. The target that I really always go for, where I start to sell, is not just my levels, but I simplify it with my moving averages. So like my 14, my 20, my 30. I wait for these to start coming down because price always vacuums. When the price bottoms down here, this is our bottom. We're going to get a nice vacuum somewhere around here, which coincides with these 2 candles right here. Go straight across. That's your support. I'm going to draw a line there so I can clean this up. There we go. 14 SMA is going to vacuum here, 1661. Just by watching this live with this meli, I'm basically telling you where we are going, what strike to play, because of course, you know, I'm looking at calls, but it does not mean you buy this week's. When you're playing play like meli, you can lose 25 points in a day. then you can gain 75 points to 100 points in a day. And what comes with that is your premium going up and down a lot with meli. So by Wednesday, you want direction to be confirmed. So you want a closing above 1563 by Tuesday, Wednesday, the latest. This vacuum can happen this week, or it can happen by next Tuesday. So to play this one, you want to buy next week's 1563s, 1633s and 1661s. That will be the target. ER is coming up, and ER is not going to be 1028. Meli usually has an ER at the beginning of the month, the first week of the month. So I'm looking at a Thursday, which is I think 11/4. So keep that in mind. We're going to get a little run up going into that. Just by looking at this chart and the points on the side, my levels on the side, 1633, 1661, 1731, 2016. ER is over here. So this is what I usually do when I'm prepping. So let's say ER is 11/4, right? 11/5. I want to see, what is this, a Friday? Let's say 11/5 here, right? This is where your ER is going to be. So by then, we have a range like this by ER. 2000, is that possible? Very possible. Is it going to happen day after ER, day of ER? Nobody knows. We still have, let's see, let's go to our weekly chart. This is how I do it. This is how I tell how many weeks we have. Here's your weekly chart. This was last week's. So we're looking for 1661. So a move from here. I want to see a close above 20 SMA. If they wanted to, they can push this to 1731. I would love that for ER play. And this is going to be 1018, then 1025, then 11/1 week. So we got 3 weeks. That's this week now, and the 25th, then a week of the 1st. So we got 3 weeks to ER, and it reports. So let's look at some past ERs. This is what I do. This is basically like an ER prep. I'm gonna duplicate this level here, and I'm gonna put it here. This was last ER. Duplicate this one as well. This was the last ER prior to that. So what I'm gonna show you a couple of things to look at for this one. So May ER, I don't know if it was good. Even if it was good, price did the opposite, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight. So this was the first move, right? This week was the first move when the ER reported. So this range was 192 points, but there was a continued downside the following week. And that range was 201 points. So what am I going to do? I'm going to open up my calculator. I'm going to calculate both of those ranges. So that's 201 plus, what was the first one? 192. Or in this case, you can do, the smartest thing is the highest point of this candle, which is 1625, minus the lowest point of this candle, 1262. And that gives you a 363 point range. So this right here is 363 points. Okay. Now let's look at this ER rate. So let's look at this ER for August. This candle, whatever it did great. We played this August ER. We actually killed it for this August ER, which was amazing. First range was 273 for that week. It pulled back that week, and then it closed above 1731 at the key level. Next week opened above that. Then it had another 162.91 range. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the low of the 8-2 candle, which is 1539, and then the high of this candle, which is 1899. So 1899, take away 1539. This was 360 points for this range. Really, when you highlight it should like give you how big the square is, the rectangle is when you hover over it. The rectangle, yep. It tells you the starting and then the ending. So that's 360 for that one. And this one was 16. Hold up. 360. Copy that. This was 1624. We highlight 1624 minus 1263. This was 361. Funny, these both were the same range for ERs on the downside and on the upside. Now for this one, we have an ER approaching. So they're going to either probably build around 1663 or they're going to keep us under 1731, which is not bad. The way this is curling, this is bottoming. I like it. This range right here, this was a downside move, 203, and this was 145, almost like 360 as well, 2 here. So what I'm going to do, remove. I'm going to duplicate this 360 range. Now, let's just say ER week is here. So it would be, hold up, these two are candles here. So 1, 2, 3. This would be 2 weeks, and then it should be right here. So this is what we're looking at. The following week after ER, which would be 11-8. Wait, that's 11-8. I gotta look at my calendar. 11-5, and then after that, let me look at my charts. Hold on 1 second. Do this real quick. November. All right, so the week of the 8th, which is actually that Friday is the 12th. So by the 12th, we're looking at around 1995, 2016. Let me check my OPC. I'm going to do that later. But using that, this is what we got. I want to see something too. I never did this before. I think I did this one time. Use this low to line up with this candle here. Okay, I can't do that, so it won't let me. I want to see something. Okay. This would be the range. So if we're within this channel range, I got to activate this. It would be somewhere north of here for ER. If they keep us, I have a feeling they're going to keep us under 1661 for the next 2 weeks. If they don't, and we get to 1731, then that would be great. We got all-time highs coming, which wouldn't be a bad thing either. Actually, they make an extension for that as well. So we're looking at 2000 post ER. We'll have to break all-time highs of 2016. Or we get a double top. So we have an ascending triangle. Let's remove this. Bring that here. Get a double top going there, possibly. Who knows? I'm all for whatever it is that they give us, honestly. But I would definitely like to see somewhere north of 2016 for the week of 11-15. So I'm giving you that ER play for how to play this meli. All right, we're going to move over to next up, W. That's the ER we got going. This is a tricky one. Lots of downgrades before ER. You scalp your weeklies until they stop paying you. The reason I say this is because if ER does not work, you've made your money already and it becomes a free position going into earnings. W has been trading in a bull flag for the past, what is this? August 2020 to now. So we got August 2020, then a year later, August 21, and we should finally break out. I'm looking for a move north of 340. The best trade right now, honestly, for W would be leaps. I'm talking about 340 to 400. January to March. They're pretty cheap right now. They're expensive to you, then Don't play it, but they are pretty cheap. Looking at this chart, I'm going to show you a buy zone, a demand area. This breakout, 225.92. This has been the buy. 339.01 has been the sell. Every time price hits 225, you buy at least 3 weeks out, mid of this range. So from 225 to 339, for me, mid would be around between 300 and 285. But to play this smart, you want to buy the first resistance first from 225 up. So 273 is the first resistance. Okay. So I would buy these calls 3 weeks out. This call and this call, which these two levels, which is 301 and 285, 4 to 6 weeks out. And if those prices hold, which I don't see why not, based off how this is forming, this is actually a cleaner 14, 30, and 20 combination going on here. As opposed to over here, this is looking messy. Like, look how it looks. It's all over the place. This is actually constructed nicely. Rejection of the 14. I'm definitely looking at 400 leaps going forward. I actually started building positions for those already. I'm gonna open some more too. I like this hammer. Got a spinning top to a hammer. Still in a nice bull flag. This is a game of patience. This could be an extended bull flag. They can end of year, 360s for January. These right here. This would be 4 to 6 weeks right here. Just sit on them, let them play. Don't watch it. Set your alerts for your levels. Get your quarterly outlook for that too. It's gonna give you guys a quick quarterly outlook. I'm looking at the bigger pictures. Let me clear this up. Here we go. W has been trading inside for so long. Looking for that bounce off the 14 SMA. Thing about this stock is it tends to do that. It trades in a range for a pretty long time. And when it breaks out very strong. Second. Okay. So that 225, very important. I mean, the best trade would be 2023 400 calls, because once this breaks out, depending on how ER goes for the closing quarter of the year, we're looking for a breakout of 301 and beyond. So it's going to be 20 points out once we're over 300. And we're looking at 2 to 6 months. So the upper target, it goes from here. Supportive around the 14 SMA too. So that's your quality for W. Next up, we got burl. I like burl. Burl was one of our leaps that we never played, but we did crush it playing the long side. I told people this year it's going to hit all-time highs. It was going to be a great play. And what happened? It did just that. I think we talked about this last August of last year. And look what it's done so far, looking at the quarterly alone. Finding some support here going into the new year. 356 is my target. I got March 350s. And I also got some, I'm looking at some August. I think there's August 400 calls too as well. But when it does this 14 SMA is a magnet. So if this range, let's just see. I'm gonna do my highlighter. This is a range here. duplicate this off of this range here. So like 400-ish, possibly even higher than that. I'm going to create a channel just to see if this is bottom for the year here until the closing of the year. This is what happens with my channels. Possibly a $500 stock. Anything's possible. Remember, we talk about this. We're going to look at this YouTube video in about the next 6 months, see where it's at. Monthly is very constructive. That bounce over 250.13. A close over 280. Anything's possible. That's 12 points away. Most importantly, 268.93 is our 14S. Actually, is that the 14 SMA? Nope, 274.63 is a 14 SMA. So we want to see a close above that. So for end of month for this thing, 275 is the best play here. 280s for the 29th of next week, which is closing month. Nice chart. I like this chart. I want to see 299.77 turn back into a support. So currently that's the resistance with 280.28. We got a support at 250.13. That's also 14 SMA. That's sorry, 20 SMA and 14 SMA is still currently resistance. Price likes to vacuum back above that. I'm surprised we didn't touch the 30 SMA down here. They report somewhere in November, which is also good. Last report, it had a move of 58 points. Prior to that, 45 points. Prior to that, these are monthly candles. This is 70 points on this one. So let's see what happens. Next up, TTD. We used to play this back in the days before the reverse split, and we played it after the reverse split. It's still a beautiful chart. I can see this back open it again. I think it was trading around 800 before the split. Let me edit this real quick. This line's darker. So if you look at this chart, automatically what you notice is we are in a consolidation phase this year for TTD. Once TTD gets over 87.16, it is taking off. I already start looking at leaps for 140 for next year. We have not come out of this November 2020 candle. The high is 90. What is it? Sorry. The high is 90.43 and the low is 54.35. I'm going to remove this fib. I'm going to simplify it for you guys easily just by making a channel. Using that low, that body low, and the body high here. When you have a channel like this, it makes trading long and short, buying puts and calls, easy. And I mean easy, because once you draw a range in the middle like this, let's say this is the average range of this. Usually lands it with some support and some resistance level. Boom, let's say this is the average range. So if price is trading below 73.40, you short it down to this range here. This bottom range is 57.17. If it holds above, your target is 90 or all-time highs. Very possible that we can see all-time highs this month. All depends, but they've got ER next month, so ER is gonna do its thing. I'm looking at the 90 calls for ER, so we should already be getting into position. Give you a 4D. So constructive. I like this setup. can do an extension here from the end using this low to this high and right back down there. 77.17, a very important area. We closed above that. Going into ER, let me see something real quick. I love to look at TTD. I'm giving you guys free game right now. So for ER is in November. I'm going to look at December because December would be the smartest way to go. Now, in this case, I want to look at previous ERs. So what I do, I take my horizontal tool and I hover over last ER. This last ER had that range. And you always want to look at the ER week plus the following ER week after that and combine those two. Here's another ER week. This one was 19 points. Prior to that one, another ER. This was 10 points, but you got to look at the following week after that. So we combine those two. So you got one. And the following week after that was 15 points. So we would do like high to low range. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually just remove this and use my rectangle tool to combine those two ranges. So here and here. And then we're going to do it again. This week was ER. And then it bottoms here to here. This is your range. Got another one over here. This one was good, did good. And then it gapped up. This is another range. This one was a short one, so actually didn't do much. This was this one, so we're gonna do from here to here. So I wanna see, looking at all these ranges, now I'm gonna bring up my calculator. Using the rectangle tool, it's going to tell me my high point and my lowest point. 68, take away 46. This was a 22-point range within 2 weeks. This one here, 89, take away 76. This was a 13-point range total altogether. This one over here, 92, take away 74. 18 points, 20 points. This one was probably the biggest one. 84, take away 54. That was a 30-point range here with a gap up the following week. So if we get a breakout, I'm looking at 105s. So 105s would be for December for me, 105 calls for December. So that's calculating, we get a run up to ER. Showing around the first week of November. So let's say we get a 10-point move and we're already above 83. So that puts us at 93. Following week after that, add another 5 to 10 points. That's 103. Another week after that, if we continue on the uptrend, break out of this 91.66 with a targeting 92, 96, 22, looking for like 110. And I'm thinking January would be the smartest play. I've been looking at just buying time for everything. Yep. I like to, anything around $1 is actually great. So I like the 108. And 108 actually shows on my chart too. Hold on. You can see here 108.59. I'm trying to simplify this for you guys for ER. It's ER season. So you know ER is lottos. Can you stop